Hello students, good morning everyone. Hope you all are good. So in our today's module, we'll be studying about Kepler's laws. From examination point of view, if I would say so, only definition may come. Fine. See, so Kepler proposed three laws of planetary motion in 16th century. Three laws are given as well. You all can see here now what Kepler's first law says. It states that the path of any planet in an orbit around the sun, it follows the shape of an ellipse. Remember this thing. Fine. So you all can see here, this one is the sun, this one is the planet. Fine. So the path of any planet in an orbit, and that is to around the sun, it always follow the shape of an ellipse. This is what the first Kepler law says. Fine. Now you all can see here, there are 2 points that you can see is aphelion and perihelion. Fine. So the point in the orbit of a planet that is nearest to the sun, it is perihelion, and the point farthest from the sun, that is called aphelion. Fine. So you can see here, this point is farthest from the sun, so it is aphelion, and this is nearest to the sun, so this is perihelion. I hope this thing is clear. Moving on to the next slide that we have is Kepler's second law. What does Kepler's second law states? It states that an imaginary line from the sun to the planet, you all can see sun to the planet, sweeps out equal area, remember this thing, in equal interval of time. Fine. I would like to give you an example here so that you can better understand it. See, if the time of traveling of a planet from A to B, that is this much, and from C to D, this much, is same, fine, if the time travel is same. So time is same here. So remember one thing, then the area AOB and COD, they are equal. Remember this thing. If time would be same from A to B and C to D, then area AOB and COD are also equal. This is what the statement of second law. Then here comes the third law, fine, which states that the cube of the mean distance of a planet, fine, the distance from the planet, is directly proportional to the square of orbital period time. What does this mean now? R cube, that is the distance, is directly proportional to time. So if distance would be more time would be taken. Fine. If distance would be less time would be taken. So these were the three laws. You just need to revise and learn only the main point, that is the statement of all these laws. I hope this thing is clear. Now moving on to the next concept that we are having is the free fall. So this is also very important concept. You all can see here, what is the meaning of free fall? See, when object falls toward the earth under the influence of earth's gravitational force alone, then these are called freely falling object, and the motion is said to be the free fall. So remember this thing. Suppose this is an object, fine, and it is falling towards the earth. Let this blue color be earth, okay, and that is to under the influence of earth's gravitational force. Fine, we all know earth is attracting the object. Fine, so this is due to the earth's gravity that objects are moving down. Fine, they are falling downward direction. So then they are said to be the free falling bodies. Fine, and such motion is said to be free fall. Remember this thing, it's very important. Then here comes acceleration due to gravity. What does this mean now? Acceleration due to gravity, it is represented by small g here. Fine, it is represented by small g. Whenever an object falls toward the earth an acceleration is involved. Very simple concept, Vijay. Suppose let this be an object. So whenever an object, it is falling towards the earth. Let earth be again with blue. Fine. So what is happening? An acceleration is involved. Of course, there will be an acceleration if an object will be falling towards the earth. So this acceleration is due to the earth's gravitational pull. I have already explained to you now what is earth's gravitational pull. So this is the acceleration that is involved here. Fine. Whenever an object falls toward the earth. So this acceleration is due to the earth's gravitational pull, because earth is pulling the object. Fine. That is to gravitational pull is there, and it is known as acceleration due to gravity. Remember this thing, this acceleration due to gravity is denoted by small g. Fine. Now students, here comes the derivation, fine, which is very important and easy as well. See, the SI, we should know what is the SI unit of small g. So the SI unit is that exactly the same as that of acceleration, because it is also an acceleration due to gravity. So its SI unit become meter second square. Now students, what they are telling, let mass of the earth be capital M. Fine. Let mass of the earth be capital M, and an object falling freely towards it be M. So the mass of earth is capital M and object is small m, and the distance between center of the earth and the object is capital R. Remember this thing. So according to from Newton's law of gravitation, that is the, yesterday we have discussed about this thing, or universal law of gravitation, F is equals to g mm upon r square. This is what the equation is. Now students, from the second law of motion, the force extended on an object, it is written as F is equals to ma. Fine, we can write it as simply F is equals to ma, but in our this topic, that is acceleration due to gravity, since a is equals to g, fine, so can we write F is equals to mg? Of course, if a is equals to g, then we can write F is equals to mg. Now students, you just simply write down F is equals to mg. Mg is equals to, what is the value of F? F will be g mm upon r square. This is what the value is. You just have to put the values, like m and m get cancelled out, and the thing that you have got is g is equals to capital G m upon r square. Fine. So this thing is important. From this formula now, it is clear that acceleration due to gravity does not depend on the mass of a falling object. Remember this thing. It is not depending upon the mass of falling object, but it depends only on the mass of the earth or any celestial body. Now students, remember this thing, question may come in your examination about the value of g. So these things become very important here, as distance of an object from the center of the celestial body increases. So if distance would be increases, the value of g would be decreases. Remember this thing. And the second point that they are telling is that earth is flattened at poles. This thing we know, earth is flattened at poles. So what happened? The radius of the earth is less at poles than at equator. Fine, radius of the earth is less at poles, and hence the value of g is less at equator than at poles. Remember this thing. This thing becomes very important, Vijay. Now main important things come here is how to calculate the value of g. So it is very simple. To calculate the value of g, we should put the value of capital G, m and r in the formula, that is g is equals to capital G m upon r square. This was the formula that we had derived, Vijay. G is equals to capital G m upon r square. This was the formula that we had derived. Now you just need to put the values of all these things. Fine. So capital G will be, what is the value of capital G? Yesterday I told you 6.67 into 10 raised to power minus 11. So you have to put these values here in the formula. Next, that value that you need to put is mass of the earth, that is 6 into 10 raised to power 24. And the radius of the earth is 6.4 into 10 raised to power 6. You have to learn all these values, Vijay. Now what you need to do is to solve the things. Fine. So power can be separated out. Fine. You have to multiply them. And if powers are in multiply, what you need to do? You have to add them. Fine. So 10 raised to power minus 11 plus 24. Okay, and if powers are in divide, so you need to subtract them. Fine, this is how your answer would be coming. After multiplication and solving this thing, the answer would be 9.8 meter per second. I hope this thing is clear, bache. Now see, the important things comes here while solving the numerical portion. Equations of motion for free fall. So we all have discussed that there are three equation of motion. This thing we already know. Fine, v is equals to u plus at, s is equals to ut plus half at square, and v square minus u square is equals to 2a. This is what we have studied. Fine, these are the three different equations. But what if we need to follow up the equations for body that is under the free fall? So under the free fall, we all know that a is equals to g, that is acceleration due to gravity, right? So we can simply replace this a with g, right? So v is equals to u plus gt, h is equals to ut plus half gt square, and v square is equals to u square plus 2gh. I hope this thing is clear, bache. Now see, in solving numerical problem, we should remember the following point. These are the 2 points. So what are these points? You all can see here. If an object falls vertically downward, then acceleration due to gravity is taken as positive. Remember this thing. If object is falling vertically downward, like in this direction, so we should take it as positive. Fine. Since its velocity is increasing while falling. Now if an object is thrown vertically upward, it means in the upward direction, then acceleration due to gravity is taken as negative, since its velocity decreases as it moves upward. Now students, there is one numerical. Fine, it is very simple, so we'll be solving it fast. See, a car falls off a ledge and drops to the ground in 0.6 seconds. So the time is given. Fine, 0.6 second. Value of g is also given. Now what you need to find out? The speed on striking the ground. What is the speed on striking the ground? So initial velocity will become 0 here. Fine. And what is the acceleration due to gravity? 10 meter per second. That is also given. So how will we find out the speed here? Speed is equals to, we all know v is equals to u plus at, but instead of writing a, we will be writing g here. I hope this thing is clear. Now putting all the values, v is equals to u will be 0, fine, g 10, and time is also given, that is 0.6. So answer would be 6 meter per second. Similarly students, second what they are asking, you need to find out the average speed. So what is the average speed? Initial velocity plus final velocity divided by 2. So this is what we have got here. Our initial velocity is 0, final we have got 6, and divided by 2 we got 3 meter per second. Now they are asking in the end to find out the distance. What will be the distance? H is equals to ut plus half gt square. Fine. So u will be u into t. If u is 0, t is what? 0.6. So 0.6 multiplied by 0 will get the 0 here, half, and gt square. Fine. So putting the value of g, that is 10, and t is 0.6, but if it is square, you have to square it. Fine. Once you solve it, you will get 1.80 meters. This will be the solution. I hope the concept is clear to each one of you students. Thank you.